Dartmouth has a strong plan for a future in solar power generation, but can do more. We endorse Dartmouth's decision to supplement the PV tracker outside of Moore Hall by installing several rooftop and ground-based PV systems around campus. Moreover, we recommend that the college consider the logistics and economics of using solar power to meet a majority of its electricity demand. A greater commitment to solar poses environmental and financial concerns, but will help Dartmouth reduce its expenditures and dependence on grid-based fossil fuel and nuclear power, carbon footprint, and vulnerability to system failures and power outages. Increasing the college's solar power capacity presents environmental and economic issues to address. Manufacturing PV panels involves doping silicone with arsenic and other toxins that are released into the atmosphere or groundwater when disposed panels begin to degrade. We must also consider that PV cells typically have 15 to 20% efficiency and a variable energy output depending on location and solar exposure. Finally, a long-term battery or grid-based storage system will address the intermittent nature of solar power generation, as well as eliminate the risk of losing generated power if not consumed or sold soon after production. Greater utilization of solar power has several advantages. First, more solar will lessen the college's dependence on a grid predisposed to widespread power outages resulting from weather, sabotage, and cyber terrorism. Moreover, solar has no associated fuel costs and can thus reduce Dartmouth's annual electricity expenses. Additionally, the Dartmouth power plant burns approximately 4 million gallons of No. 6 fuel oil annually and approximately 3,700 tons of carbon dioxide. Conversely, solar power is generated cleanly without emitting any greenhouse gases and is fueled by sunlight, an unlimited renewable resource. Finally, PV panels tend to have a lifespan of 20 to 30 years and respective energy and financial payback periods of 2 and 10 years. Therefore, these devices can produce more energy than required to create them and will ensure a return on the college's financial investment. Dartmouth's current solar operation is modest, but may soon contribute prominently to its electricity supply.
We're hoping to install solar on 2 rooftops within the next few months, one on the east side of campus, one on the west side of campus. Within the next month or 2, we'll be installing solar on the roof of the barn at the organic farm. That'll be actually fed into the grid, as will the other 2 systems. We are certainly actively studying a large-scale ground-mounted system somewhere in the proximity of campus in the near future, something probably in excess of 1 megawatt, maybe much more, to make a significant contribution, and that's all based on economics.
These installations will be fixed PV arrays. Ideally, Dartmouth would install more PV trackers, which generate 40% more solar power than fixed PV arrays. Outside of Moore Hall, a 4.24 kilowatt PV tracker operates behind the meter, offsetting a fraction of its base load. This device outputs 5,810 kilowatt hours annually, assuming maximum solar exposure. Dartmouth therefore must ensure that future PV installations are positioned to optimally harness the sun. Rosie Kerr, of the Dartmouth Office of Sustainability, has suggested land south of the Sockham playing fields and the area adjacent to Geisel as ideal locations. With a lifespan of at least 2 decades, the tracker should outlive its financial payback period of 10 years, thereby providing a return on Dartmouth's investment. Above all, Dartmouth should weigh the cost and capacity of future investments in PV and should consider large-scale systems capable of offsetting more of its electricity demand. To discuss these considerations, we met with Solaflect Energy, which worked with Dartmouth on the Moore PV tracker. Solaflect noted that while PV trackers produce 40% more energy than fixed panels, higher initial costs lower the improvement to 30%. More importantly, Solaflect mentioned that using solar to meet a majority of the demand for a consumer as big as Dartmouth would be an expensive, lengthy process requiring more space than is available on campus. We can also look to other colleges who have made strong commitments to solar for guidance moving forward. For instance, Hampshire College is well on its way to using solar to generate 100% of its electricity at certain periods when its PV panels are operational. The system is connected to the grid for storage, however, 2 Tesla battery systems were integrated to store power for times of peak demand. Although various environmental and financial concerns must be addressed when considering how to increase Dartmouth's investment in solar power, they should not overshadow the benefits of solar-generated electricity. Investing in PV panels that outlive their energy and financial payback periods promises to improve the college's environmental impact and economy of generation. The tracker outside of Moore is expected to outlive its financial payback period by 10 to 20 years and generate approximately 6,000 kilowatt hours annually. At 16 cents per kilowatt hour for New Hampshire grid-based electricity, this tracker can save Dartmouth $960 per year for 2 decades, yielding a lifetime savings of close to $20,000. The addition of larger solar power installations will make this tracker just one small piece of a sizable future contribution to meeting Dartmouth's energy demand.